It's time, my friends, for another Devo tip on I Have a Question. Does Jesus really get us? Just think of all we go through, from crying babies to toddler meltdowns to teenage mutants to stressed out parents to senior moments. Does Jesus really get us? Well, thankfully, Mary kept a scrapbook. Okay, it's not Mary's scrapbook, but just go with me here. Why did Jesus come to us as a baby? Why not appear as a fully adult man like Adam did? Well, only the offspring of the woman could defeat Satan. And the writer of Hebrews says it this way: only as a human being could Jesus die, and only by dying could he break the power of the devil, who had the power of death. So, away in a manger, no crying he makes, right? But babies cry. Why is it so hard for us to imagine little toddler Jesus doing a faceplant? Well, the writer of Hebrews helps us out here. It says, it was necessary for Jesus to be made in every respect like us. Yeah, he grew up in an ordinary Jewish home in Nazareth, a town of only 200. It was so obscure that each gospel writer had to explain what Nazareth was, a city of Galilee. And I find it odd that demons cried out, Jesus of Nazareth, as if it was essential to identify his hometown. And Pilate, of all the things to write on the cross, he wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Jesus put tiny Nazareth on the map. In the only childhood story recorded, Jesus separates from his parents in Jerusalem during Passover to go about his Father's business. It reads like a preview of the resurrection. After a 3-day search, his parents find Jesus in the temple answering his own questions about his mission. Later, these same teachers will conspire to kill him. The one childhood story reveals his resolve. He must leave the sheltered life of Nazareth and go into a world filled with sin, disease, demons, and death, and come back to Jerusalem on another Passover to bear it all. The only other thing we know about Jesus' upbringing is that he was a carpenter. How fitting that his profession mirrors his mission to build his church. We are not given any more details, but we do see the fruit of those hidden years. By the age of 30, all Jesus had learned and become was fully evident. Whatever happened during those hidden years prepared him to accomplish his mission. And it's fun to see Jesus at the dinner parties, at a wedding, taking a nap, and cracking up. Yeah, Jesus cracked up and laughed over his Father revealing himself to people like us. That's Luke 10:21. But it pings our heart to see him angry, indignant, troubled, greatly distressed, very sorrowful, deeply moved, and frustrated with people who had seen the miracles and still doubted. Only a fully human Jesus would grieve, sigh, sob, groan in agony, greatly desire, laugh, and love. Jesus is the true human. When we look at him, we see what we were created to be. See, Jesus is the only one in all of creation who in every respect has been tempted as we are, and yet without sin. I like how Julie Canlis puts it in her Theology of the Ordinary. He had to assume our full humanity and, beating his way forward by blows, bend human nature back toward the Father again. She goes on to say, Jesus endured real temptation for us so that we could endure real temptation and, in union with him, overcome. I love that. Yeah, Jesus knew that sin destroys lives, and his great love compelled him to save humans from their sins. And ultimately, it was impossible for him to succumb to temptation and sin because of his divine nature. So again, the writer of Hebrews helps us. It says it was necessary for him to be made in every respect like us, so that he could be our merciful and faithful high priest before God. Since he himself has gone through suffering and testing, he is able to help us when we are being tested. Again, here's Hebrews chapter 4 and 7. We have a great high priest who holds his priesthood permanently because he continues forever and always lives to make intercession for us. What does it mean that he makes intercession for us? Well, that word intercede means that he completes transactions with our Father on behalf of his people, us. So we do the best we can. We pray the best we can. We do the best we can. But we fall short, don't we? And that's when our high priest intervenes and he perfects our efforts for God's glory. That's his intercession for us. So Jesus can represent, redeem, and intercede for us because he became a real human. His physical body saves our physical body. His human mind redeems our twisted thinking. His human will liberates our pig-headedness. His full range of human emotions sanctifies the cries of our soul. He became fully human to fully save us to the uttermost.